Hello guys, good morning and welcome back sa another vlog natin ngayon, another video natin ngayon. And I hope you had a wonderful weekend. So sa video na to is ipapakita ko sa inyo kung ano yung mga aquatic floating plants na ginagamit ko sa aking mga guppy tanks and breeding tanks ng guppy, including yung mga grow out tanks ng mga fry. So stay tuned. So alright guys, andito tayo sa backyard natin where I am setting up all of my guppy grow tanks. As you can see, I have lots of floating plants in each of the tub. This includes Hydral, Hornwort, water lettuces, and this common duckweed. So the benefits that we can get from these types of floating plants are shade, aeration, filtration, protection, and additional source of food na sinasummarize ko as SAFPA para hindi natin makalimutan. So they provide shade para sa mga isda natin, para merong mapagtaguan yung mga isda natin, especially outdoors kung medyo direct sunlight sila. And then it also provides aeration kasi alam naman natin plants are producing oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis, and filtration because they absorb nitrates in the water column, as I have previously mentioned or discussed in my previous video. It's appended there at the top about the nitrogen cycle. You better check it out. These live plants absorb nitrates in the water to make the water cleaner for your fish to thrive and survive. And then they also provide protection, especially for the fry. When you have your breeder in the tank and they spawn, they give birth to their fry, hindi nila dali-daling makain yung mga fry nila because let's face the fact, okay, guppy parents will literally gobble up their young because they know it's tender and delicious. So that's what they think about their fry, kakainin nila yan. So if you have plants floating in there, it will provide protection for your fish apparently, and then additional source of food in the sense that tiny organisms in especially algae will grow attached to your plants. So aside from the only food source that you feed them, which is the processed feeds that we have, with the floating aquarium plants, floating live plants, your fish will have something else to eat. Meron silang kakainin, they have something to nibble as they are full of nutrition and add to a well-balanced diet, just what every healthy little fish need. So that's why napaka-importante ng mga floating plants sa mga isda natin, given the benefits that I have cited. So guys, yung first plant na ipapakita ko sa inyo na gamit ko ay tinatawag nating water lettuce. Ito siya. So, yan yung itsura ng water lettuce natin. Bali, yung nasa akin ay yung dwarf version kasi merong version ito na lumalaki talaga. Tapos, hindi nila gusto yung hindi nila gusto yung flowing water. Ilagay nyo lang sila sa stagnant water para maganda yung growth nila. Tapos makikita nyo may naka-attach sa kanila yung parang maliliit na ganyan sila mag-propagate. They propagate that way. They will shoot to the sides young water lettuces, and in time yung pusod, yung parang pinaka-pusod na tinatawag natin, it will just be automatically cut off. So hiwalay siya sa mother plant, and it provides a great and napakagandang shade para sa mga isda natin. The second plant that I am going to introduce to you is called the duckweed. So duckweed, as we all know, is very invasive. Leave one leaf in there, and in the morning it will double up. Ganyan sila kabilis dumami, and they are an excellent filter in our ponds and tanks because they eat a lot of nitrates in the water column, believe it or not. But Huwag nyo lang silang hayaan na i-invade yung buong pond nyo or yung tanks nyo kasi napakabilis nilang dumami. Though they do not provide that much of a shade as compared to water lettuce, but the filtration capability that they can do in your tanks and in your ponds is extremely superb as compared to the water lettuce. So small plants with big benefits, kumbaga. So that's duckweed for you. You see the roots; they are very tiny, but don't be fooled by that tiny looks of that little plant. Maganda siyang alagaan. And then on the plus side, you can also feed it to your goldfish. Meron akong mga goldfish dati, pinapakain ko sa kanila yan. Not only goldfish, but also my tinfoil barbs love them. Wala na kasi akong video nun kasi matagal na yan, pero gustong gusto nila yan. So, yun yung purpose niya as feeds na rin. So this next plant, guys, we call this one Hornwort. Almost all of the fish keepers know this one. This plant is the Hornwort plant. This is a very fast growing floating plant. Just let it float in your aquarium, let it grow freely, and let the algae grow over it, and your fish will nibble on that leaves with the algae. You see, ganyan lang siya, pero ang bilis dumami niyan, You can propagate it through cuttings, or it can just self-propagate in your tank, or in your tubs, or in your ponds. So the leaves will look like this. Okay, don't get confused with this plant with a kabomba. Kabomba is different. This one is a floating plant. It is also an oxygenating plant. They provide a great amount of oxygen in your tanks. I'm also using this Hornwort plant in my breeding tanks for guppy. They provide an extremely wonderful shade and protection for the fry when they are born. Sometimes I don't get the parents, I don't get them out of the cage. I just let them there, and the fry will just hide through the leaves of this Hornwort plant. So this is extremely beneficial as well. This last plant that I have right now is Hydral. Actually, this can be a floating plant, or this can also be a plant that is rooted. Right now I am planting it in a pot of small dirt. So right there. But it can also be grown floating. But I just included it here in the video because of its capability na pwede nga siyang mag-grow, na pwede nga siyang i-grow as a floating plant. Not necessarily na itatanim mo siya, but mas maganda yung growth niya pag tinanim. This is also an oxygenating plant. Provides a great amount of oxygen in the water, and places for the small fish to hide. So guys, this is another example of the water lettuce that I have in my tank, and as you can see, I have put a barricade because they do not want to be floating around. They want to be stationary. And another set of Hydral just growing like crazy inside my grow out tank. This is the tank that I have for my guppy calls. I put him here. So ayun guys, and I hope na nagkaroon kayo ng idea kung ano yung mga magagandang plants na pwede nyo ilagay sa mga guppy tanks nyo, lalong-lalo na sa mga breeding tanks ng guppy, kung kayo ay nagbe-breed ng guppy, at saka sa mga grow tanks ng mga fry ng kahit anong isda like bearers or yung mga fry ng goldfish, pwede yan. And so yun, bali shoutout nga pala kay Divine Maria Torres tsaka kay Mark Gabriel Puliket. Thank you for watching this video, and maraming salamat sa mga patuloy na sumusuporta ng video natin, and see you guys on my next video. Happy fish keeping!